We begin with a very important chapter, number 5, laws of motion. Okay. First of all, let us see what is called force. As such, everybody knows what is called force. But we have to now define it in very precise words. Okay. What is the exact meaning of force from physics point of view? Suppose you have some table in front of you. You want to bring it closer to you. Okay? So what do you do at that time? You just have a firm grip over the table surface and you just pull it towards you. Okay? You want to move it away from you, then you will push it this way. Okay? But while pushing or while pulling, what we do, we have exertion of that physical quantity on the table whereby it is compelled to change its present state. Before you had exerted that quantity, the table was in a state of rest. Now you want to change that state, you want to bring it inside the table, you want to bring motion in the table. So you want to change the state of the table, state of the object. For that, whatever physical quantity is required, it is known as force. Okay? Not only force is required to bring the motion in the body, sometimes we require to stop the body which is already set into motion. Suppose some football is moving and you want to stop it, correct? Then with the help of your leg you will just stop it. So at that time already it was in a state of motion and you want to stop it. At that time also force is required. Sometimes we would like to continue the state of motion, but we would like to change the direction of motion. Football is coming this way. I want to make it moving, say this way. Then with the help of my leg, I will just apply the kick this way. Then it will start moving in that direction. Correct? So force is required at 3 occasions. First, to bring the motion in the body, to make the body moving, or to make the body stopped in the motion. Okay? And number 3, to change the direction of velocity. Correct? At each of these occasions, the exertion of physical quantity which is responsible is known as force. Okay? Force is that physical quantity under the influence of which present state of the body can be changed. Correct? Such a physical quantity is called force. Correct? A physical quantity under the influence of which present state of the body can be changed is known as force. Okay? Simple. Force is of 2 types. Either it is contact force or it is field force. When you pull the table towards you or you push the table away from you, at the time you are having contact with the table, and that's why it is called contact force. What is it called? Contact force. Another is the force which is natural force, in which physical contact is not required. For example, when you drop any body, what happens? It falls vertically downwards. Because of gravitational force exerted by earth on that object. So earth is not coming in physical contact with that body, and yet that earth can provide that force. Correct? Such a force in which physical quantity is not required is known as natural force. We call it field force. Gravitational field produces gravitational force. In 3rd semester you study electric field produces electric force. magnetic field produces magnetic force. Gravitational force, electric force, magnetic force, they are all called field forces. They are called field forces. Simple? Fine. What do you mean by inertia? What do you mean by inertia? Very simple. Suppose you have some body on the surface of a table, correct? You want to move it. What you will experience, that unless and until you exert certain minimum force, that body does not move. That body does not move. If that body is very heavy, then to move it, you will require great amount of force. But unless and until you exert certain minimum force, that body does not move. So it was in a state of rest, and it would like to continue same state of rest as far as possible. So while remaining at rest, though you are exerting force, but if the force exerted is not sufficient, what that body does at that time? It simply opposes the very action of your applied force. The basic property of a body by the virtue of which it opposes the action of applied force is only known as its inertia. It's inertia. If the body is very heavy, having bigger amount of mass, then its inertia is also more. If mass is less, inertia is less. Mass is more, inertia is more. So mass of a body gives us measure of its inertia. Measure of its inertia. Mass gives measure of inertia. Mass itself is not inertia. Mass itself is not inertia because mass has the unit kilogram. Inertia is a property which has no unit. Mass is a physical quantity. Inertia is a property. Okay? Come on, define inertia this way. Basic property of a body by the virtue of which it opposes the action of applied force is known as its inertia. Simple. There is no example given in the textbook for inertia. I can give you one very simple example. Look. Suppose we have here a glass on the top of which we have some little cover. Okay? I mean, a very light cover is there. Some board is there. Very light in weight. And on that postcard, suppose, on that postcard we have placed some coin. Okay? Right now coin is at rest. Okay? You just do one thing. You just apply some tangential force to the postcard. Just apply the force this way, parallel to its surface. Okay? This way. And then because of the influence of that force, what will happen? Postcard will simply fly. Postcard will fly away, but the coin was at rest, and because of property of inertia, it would like to remain at rest at the same position. And so now because postcard has moved away, now it cannot remain suspended in air. So because of its weight, it falls down in the glass. So when you can see that it is falling down there only, it means that it would like to continue same state of rest as far as possible. Correct? So this is the exhibition of property called inertia. Simple. From a running bus, if anybody is getting down, what does he do at the time? He doesn't try to stop his body at a time. No. What he does, after getting down on the road, he simply runs certain steps in the direction of motion of the bus, so that he can slowly bring his body to rest, slowly, not all of a sudden. Otherwise, he will lose the balance, he will fall down. Correct? Again, this is the property of inertia. Simple? Fine. what is called Newton's first law of motion. It is also called Galileo's law of inertia. Galileo's law of inertia or Newton's first law of motion, both of them are one and same. Very simple. In the lower standards also, I think nearly 2 to 3 times it has been taught to you what is called Newton's first law. Look, on any body, if there is no resultant external force, what will happen? If there is no resultant external force, what will happen? You can answer very perfectly, nothing will happen. What is my question? What will happen? You can answer, nothing will happen. Because when there is no resultant external force, that body, if it is in a state of rest, it will remain in the same state. If it is in a state of motion, it would continue to move with same uniform velocity. Correct? This very statement is called Newton's first law. In the absence of resultant external force, a body in a state of rest remains in the same state, or a body in a state of motion continues to move with a uniform velocity. This very statement is called Newton's first law of motion. In the absence of resultant external force, in the absence of resultant external force, or sometimes we call it in the absence of unbalanced force, in the absence of unbalanced force, a body in a state of rest remains in the same state of rest, or a body in a state of motion continues to move with uniform velocity. This very statement is called Newton's first law of motion. Simple? Fine. So from Newton's first law, what we can come to know? We can come to know about definition of force. About force is that physical quantity under the influence of which present state of the body would get changed. So we come to know about the definition of force from Newton's first law. What about magnitude of force? Magnitude of force will come to know from Newton's second law. But before we go for that, it is necessary to study about this physical quantity. Look here, what is called momentum. Everybody knows, definition is quite simple. Product of mass and velocity of a body is called its momentum. But mind well, when we say only velocity, we mean to say linear velocity. And when we say only momentum, we mean to say linear momentum. Later on in second semester, you will come to know about angular velocity and angular momentum. Angular velocity and angular momentum. Those quantities are different and these are different. Okay? Only velocity means linear velocity, only momentum means linear momentum. Okay? Now look. Take magnitude on both the sides. So P equals to M into V. P equals to M into V. What about unit of momentum? Everybody, unit of mass is kilogram, unit of velocity is meter per second. But why kilogram into meter per second is as good as Newton into second? Why this is equal to Newton into second? Can you prove? Very simple. Don't you know? Force is mass into acceleration. Look here. Force is mass into acceleration. Correct? Write the unit. Unit of force, Newton. Unit of mass, kilogram. Correct? Unit of acceleration, meter per second square. Meter per second square, I just split it this way. Second into second. Second into second. Any problem? Now just bring only 1 second from here to here. Come on, Newton into second. Everybody? Newton into second. Will be kilogram into meter per second. Come on, Newton into second will be? Kilogram into meter per second. Come on, Newton into second will be kilogram into meter per second. Simple. And what this relation indicates? This vector relationship indicates that whatever is direction of velocity, same is direction of momentum. Whatever is direction of velocity, same is direction of momentum. Simple. Now we go for, look here, Newton's second law of motion. If you want to remember the statement perfectly, you must first of all remember this much. Mathematical form, vector F equals to vector dp by dt. Vector F equals to vector F equals to vector dp by dt. Now just split it this way. D by dt of a vector P. D by dt of a vector P. What do you mean by D by dt? Time rate of change of. Time rate of change of what? Of momentum of a particle. Momentum of a particle. If you find a small p, it is for a single particle. Correct? And if you find capital P, suppose sometime, then it is for total momentum. This is for momentum of a single particle. This is total momentum of a system or of the entire body. Okay? Fine. Here it is small p. So it is momentum of a particle. And then that is equal to vector F. What is vector F? Resultant external force. Resultant external force. If you are taking whole system or a body. But because we are taking here particle, better you say only resultant force. Only resultant force. Fine. Now the exact statement you can give it this way. Time rate of change of momentum of a particle is always equal to resultant force exerted on it and the direction of change in momentum. Direction of change in momentum of that particle is equal to is in the direction of resultant force. Is in the direction of resultant force. I repeat. Time rate of change of momentum of a particle is equal to resultant force exerted on it and direction of change in momentum is in the direction of resultant force. This very statement is called Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. Come on, speak it with me. Time rate of change of momentum of a given particle. Time rate of change of momentum of a given particle is always equal to resultant force exerted on it. Resultant force exerted on it. And the direction of change in momentum. And the direction of change in momentum is in the direction of resultant force. Is in the direction of resultant force. This very statement is called Newton's second law of motion. Now look here, d by dt of vector p. But what is vector p? Vector p equals to m into vector v. Vector p equals to m into vector v. Now remember, Mr. Einstein in his theory of relativity had proved one very good relationship between mass of a body in a state of rest and in a state of motion. The relationship is this. Look here. M equals to m0 upon under root of 1 minus v square upon c square, where m0 is the mass of a body in a state of rest and m is the mass of the same body in a state of motion, and v is the velocity in motion, c is velocity of light in vacuum. You must be knowing the value 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. From this relationship we can come to know that m is greater than m0. Look, m is greater than m0. Correct? So mass of a body in a state of motion is greater than mass of the same body in a state of rest. But remember, this relation holds good and it is important for relativistic speeds. Relativistic speeds means for very high speeds. For very high speeds. For the bodies which we consider in physics in problems, those bodies move relatively with quite low speeds. Compared to velocity of light, their velocities are very small. And as long as body is moving with very low velocity, at that time mass can be taken as a constant. So if m is constant, come on, if m is, then you can take it out of the symbol of derivative. Take it out of the symbol of derivative. So m is taken out. Correct? Then left is vector dv by dt. Say vector dv by dt. Now mass m as it is. What is vector dv by dt? It is nothing but acceleration. Say time rate of change of velocity is going to give you acceleration. Correct? Remember, vector f equals to m into vector a. Vector f equals to m into vector a. Resultant force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Some students, they have wrong concept in their mind. What they feel that this is Newton's second law. No. This is not Newton's second law. This is a result which is important and it is derived from Newton's second law. Newton's second law basically it is this. Vector f equals vector dp by dt. Got it? Fine. What do you mean by impulse of force? Impulse of force. Take this dt here. Come on. Vector f into dt. Vector f into dt. And that will be equal to vector dt. Correct? Come on. Product of force exerted on a body and the time interval for which that force is exerted, product of these two, it is called impulse of force. Say,
impulse of force.
Product of force exerted on a body and the time interval for which that force is exerted is called impulse of force. Impulse of
force.
It is not force, it is force into time. Say force
Into time.
and force into time will be change in momentum. Change in
Momentum.
What about unit of impulse of force? Newton into second. Everybody?
Newton into second.
Now we go for Newton's third law of motion. Suppose first body is moving with this much acceleration. It has mass m. Then to have this much acceleration in the motion, it must have been exerted by this much force given by this equation m into vector A. M into.
Vector A.
But now question arises, on that first body this much force is exerted, that is true, but it is exerted by whom? Suppose it is exerted by second body. Suppose it is exerted by
Second body.
It was Mr. Newton who had thought out this problem very first, that the way first body is exerted upon force by second body, at the same time is force exerted by first body on the second body. Is there any force such force is there? That was a question in his mind, and through proper experimental research he could prove that yes, there is at the same time equal amount of force just exerted in opposite direction. Whatever magnitude of force is exerted by second body on first body in whichever time, in the same time same magnitude of force is exerted by first body on second body, but just in opposite direction. Just in opposite
Direction.
Suppose force exerted on first body by second body is, we consider force of action. Force of
Action.
Then we show it by this symbol vector F1 to vector.
F1.
Force exerted on first by second. Exerted on first by.
Second.
Then what did Mr. Newton said? The same amount of force is exerted on second body by first body. On second body by. But because its direction is just opposite, I write here minus. Yes. If this is force of action, we can call this as force of reaction. Force of reaction. Action and reaction are always equal in magnitude and opposite in directions. Equal in magnitudes and opposite in
Directions.
correct? This is called Newton's third law of motion. Remember 2 points for this law. First point, if force of action is this is force of reaction, you can see force of action is exerted on first body and force of reaction is exerted on
Second body.
meaning thereby action and reaction, they are not exerted on the same body. They are not exerted on the
Same body.
they are exerted always on two different bodies. On two. If you strike your head on the wall, then if force exerted on the wall is force of action, then force exerted by the wall on the head is force of reaction. Next day you will realize, right? In the form of hemisphere, that part will get swallowed, in the form of hemisphere. Then you will realize, oh, this is the effect of force of reaction. Correct? Listen. One more point to be noted here. Action and reaction are produced at a time. There is no existence of single force. Single force cannot exist. Forces are always generated in a pair. That's what I written here. Come on. Action and reaction always act on the two different bodies. And one more point, forces are exerted always in pair. In a pair of two. Okay. Single force does not exist. Okay. What does the swimmer do? He tries to push the water backward this way. And at the way he is trying to push the water backward, that is the action of, that is the force of action. Which is provided on water. Now what water will do? Water will provide an equal but opposite force on the swimmer. then swimmer is pushed forward. That is how we can swim in the forward direction. Correct? When we walk, what we do? When we walk, what we do? We slightly bend, slightly, in the forward direction, in the direction where we want to move. Okay? And then while walking, we just try to push the soil. We try to push the ground in the backward direction. Now that is the force of action. Force of action is provided by ground on our body. And because of that force, we can move forward. Correct? Just spread banana skin. Spread banana skin on the ground. Okay, spread banana skin on the floor. Okay, and then try to walk on it. We cannot walk. It's not a question of loving. Try to learn. Why we cannot walk? That is true. But at that time, sufficient force of reaction is not provided on our body. But why sufficient force of reaction is not provided? Because sufficient amount of force of action is also not provided. Because of very smooth surface, we cannot walk because we cannot exert proper force of action. So proper force of reaction is also not provided on our body. We cannot move forward easily. Simple. Any other example you would like to give? Suppose we have rifle. And we just support it on our shoulder. Okay? And then we apply the trigger and we fire one bullet. So that bullet is fired in the forward direction. And while just getting out of the nozzle, that bullet exerts an equal but opposite force on the gun, on the machine gun, whatever it is, correct? Then what happens on that gun? There is a recoil force. Recoil force is in backward direction, and because of that force, that gun is pushed backward on the shoulder, and if the person is not having proper stamina or if he is not undergone proper training, that may cause injury to his shoulder. Okay? So again, this is the example of Newton's third law of motion. Okay? Any other example you would like to give? Birds are taking flight, correct? Taking proper elevation in the air because of application of Newton's third law. They, with the help of wings, they try to push the air this way. Then force of reaction is provided by air on the body of the bird, and that's why bird is able to rise, right? Elevation wise, height wise it can rise because of application of Newton's third law. Correct? Fine. We go now for law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. Look, try to understand this law. What do you mean by conservation? Conservation means keeping constant. Keeping constant. When total momentum remains constant, I am showing you. Consider the same example of that gun and bullet. Look here. Here is a gun or rifle. In the rifle there is a bullet. Initially, bullet and rifle, both of them are at rest. Any body which is at rest, come on, velocity is zero. When velocity is zero, momentum will be also zero. So look here. Total initial momentum. Come on. This is the momentum of bullet. This is momentum of rifle. And because both of them are at rest, come on, total momentum will be zero. Now what I do? I just fire one bullet from the rifle. Okay? Suppose bullet is achieving the velocity, say, towards positive x-axis. So momentum of bullet is towards positive x-axis. Okay? So there has been change in momentum of bullet. There has been change in momentum of rifle also. Let us find out those changes. Change in momentum of bullet. Change in momentum of bullet. Look here. Change in momentum of bullet. Change means what? Final minus initial. Say final. So dash means final. Without dash means initial. This is final momentum of bullet minus initial momentum of bullet. Final momentum I have kept as it is, but initial momentum of bullet is zero because initially bullet was at rest. Now Change in momentum, find out from here. Change in momentum is how much? How much? It is force into time. Say, come on, change in momentum can be written as force into time. Okay, what is this? Force exerted by rifle on the bullet. Force exerted, okay, force exerted on the bullet by rifle. Fine. Now change in momentum of rifle. Change in momentum of rifle. Again, final minus initial. So PR dash, vector PR dash minus vector PR. Initially rifle also was at rest, so initial momentum of rifle is 0. But change in momentum can also be written as, come on, force into time. Say, here I should write the force minus of vector F. Minus of? Why? If this is vector F, if it is force of action, this is minus of vector F, that is force of reaction. You know action and reaction are equal in magnitude, opposite in? So here vector F and here minus of vector F, correct? Time of interaction is same. Here also dt, here also dt. For as much time force of action is exerted, for same time force of reaction is also exerted. So these two time intervals are same. And now tell me, what is total final momentum? Total final momentum of bullet and rifle, that is vector PV dash plus vector PR dash. What is vector PV dash? What is vector PV dash? Vector F into dt. What is vector PR dash? It is minus vector F into dt. Minus vector F into dt. Vector F into dt minus vector F into dt. This will cancel, giving you answer 0 vector. What was initial momentum? What was initial momentum? Come on everybody, 0 vector. What is final momentum? That is also 0 vector. So whatever is initial momentum, same is final momentum. Whatever is
initial momentum, same is final momentum.
meaning that my total momentum of the entire system remains constant. Remains constant. But mind well, you had taken a system of 2 objects. One was rifle, another one was bullet. So there were 2 members in the system. But on that entire system made up of rifle and bullet, there is no force exerted from outside. A system on which there is no external force, such a system is called mechanically isolated system. Mechanically isolated. And for any mechanically isolated system, remember its total momentum would remain constant. That is, total momentum will get conserved. That's why this statement is called, come on, law of conservation of momentum. Give the statement. For every mechanically isolated system, total momentum remains constant. This very statement is called law of conservation of momentum. Simple? Fine. Then let us write components of this equation in a scalar form. Come on, when you want to write components in a scalar form, this vector sign should be deleted. Write first of all x component here, come on, fx. Say here dpx by dt and here m into ax. Here it is. Fx equals to dpx by dt equals to m into ax. And wherever it is x component, now we can write y and z. Okay, fine. Read now statement of first equation. Compared to textbook, you will find this method, everything quite short and easy. Follow this method, okay? Look here. F equals to ma. Take magnitude on both the sides. F equals to ma. What is acceleration? Change in velocity divided by time taken. Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. Mass is given to 40 kilogram. Initial velocity was 5 meter per second. Final velocity is 2 meter per second. Time interval is 6 seconds. 2 minus 5 minus 3. Minus 3 upon 6 minus 1 by 2 into 40, that is minus 20 Newton. Unit of force is Newton. Negative sign shows that this is the force which is resistive force, which is because it opposes the motion. And it will produce retardation or deceleration in the motion. Okay? Negative value of acceleration is called deceleration. You can see this acceleration is negative. What is negative? 2 minus 5 is minus 3. Minus 3 upon 6, that is minus 1 by 2. It is negative value of acceleration, which is called deceleration. Now look, v square minus v0 square equals to 2ad. But what is a? What is a from here? F upon m. A is, come on, F upon m. Put the values at a time. Initial velocity is 5 meter per second. Final velocity is 2 meter per second. 2 as it is. What about force? You have found out. Come on, minus 20. Correct? Upon m, mass of the body given to 40 kilogram. Distance covered. By the time velocity reduces from 5 to 2, what is the distance covered they want? So let it be d only. Come on, find out. Value of d comes out to be from here 21 meter. 21 meter. Simple. Next. F equals to ma. Force exerted is 45 Newton. Mass value I require. Acceleration they have given 4.5 meter per second square. Find out m. 45 upon 4.5, it will be 10 kilogram. Now in the second case I am writing F equals to m dash a dash. Because mass is changed from m to m dash. Come on, acceleration is being changed a to a dash. But force is remaining same. They have said the same force is exerted on another mass. So F I am keeping as it is. That F value is earlier it was 45, now also it is 45 Newton. M dash I want new acceleration they are given 9 meter per second square. Find out m dash, it will be 45 upon 9, that is 5 kilogram. And what have they done now? First mass was m, second mass is m dash. They have tied up both the masses. They have tied up, and on the together mass, on the whole mass. Now they have exerted same amount of force. Then what will be the acceleration in the combined mass? Let us find out. F equals to, now I am taking combined mass m plus m dash, and that into resultant acceleration I am taking by symbol A double dash. By symbol A double dash. Same force is exerted, so it is 45 Newton. Come on, m value we had found out. Come on, 10 kilogram. What about m dash? 5 kilogram into A double dash. Come on, 45. And this is 10 plus 5, that is 15. 45 upon 15, that is 3. And unit of acceleration meter per second square. Okay. F equals to ma. This is the force applied after applying brakes. When you apply brakes, what will happen? Force of retardation. Force of that is force of, you can say, opposing the motion will be provided. That's why you must take it with a negative sign. If any force helps the motion, it should be taken positive. If any force opposes the motion, should be taken negative. Okay? It is retarding force. Which force? Retarding force. 4 kilonewton. 4 kilonewton is not the SI unit of force. SI unit of force is only Newton. Say. So you must convert kilonewton to Newton. Kilo itself means 10 raised to 3. Kilo itself means 1 kilometer is 10 raised to 3. That is 1000 meter. 1 kilogram is 1000 gram. Correct? 1 kilonewton is 1000 Newton. I had given you that chart. Remember? In that chart there are tables of submultiples and multiples. Multiples means power, positive power to the base 10. Deca, hecto, kilo, mega, giga, tera, peta, exa, zeta, iota. Remember? In that 10 raised to 3 was kilo. 10 raised to 3 was kilo. So kilo means 10 raised to 3. What about mass? 1000 kilogram. 1000 and find out A. This 1000 and this 1000 will cancel. So A equals to minus 4. A equals to unit of acceleration meter per second square. They asked in how much time car would get stopped. So apply this equation, V equals to V0 plus AD. Come on, car is getting stopped. So final velocity has become 0. Initial velocity you given 30 meter per second. What about value of A? Minus 4 into T. Come on, plus minus, minus. Minus 4 into T you can transfer here. Will become plus 4 into T. 4 into T equals to 30. So T will become on 7.5 second. They also asked, before getting stopped, how much distance would be covered by the car? Let us find out. Use third equation of linear motion with constant linear direction. So v square minus v0 square equals to 280. V square minus v0 square equals to 280. Because car is finally getting stopped, final velocity is 0. Initial velocity is given to 30 meter per second. What about value of A? It is minus 4. A is, come on, minus 4. D we want. Come on, this is minus 900. This is minus 8 into 3. Minus will become plus. 900 upon 8. 900 upon 8. Answer is 112.5. This many meter. Okay. Next. What do you mean by impulsive force? Look here, impulsive force. When a force of very large magnitude is exerted on a body for a very small time, then such a force is known as impulsive force. Don't get confused. Impulse of force is different and impulsive force is different. Impulse of force means what? Force into time. Force into time. This is only force. This is only force. Impulsive force means, come on, a force of large magnitude exerted for very small time is known as an impulsive force. Okay? Now look, cricket ball of mass 150 gram is delivered towards the batsman. Initial velocity you are given 12 meter per second. With the help of bat, batsman strikes that ball back towards the bowler this way. So direction of final velocity is also this way, and direction of force exerted is also this way, towards negative x-axis. Come on. Positive x-axis, then unit vector should be I hat. And negative axis, then unit vector should be minus I. Force magnitude they are given 480 Newton. I should take 480 into minus I. Vector equals to magnitude multiplied by unit vector. Correct? What about mass? 150 gram. Convert into kilogram. 150 upon 1000, that is 0.15 kilogram. Taking this ball as a single particle, now you can apply Newton's second law. Newton's vector F equals to vector dp by dt. Vector dp means what? Change in momentum. Change in momentum. Final minus initial. Final minus initial. Upon dt as it is. Come on, final momentum. Mass into final velocity minus initial momentum. Mass into initial velocity. Upon dt. Come on, m and m can be taken common. Inside the bracket, come on, vector v2 minus vector v1 upon dt. Wait, what is vector f? What is vector f? Minus 480 I hat. Say everybody, minus 480 I hat. M, come on, m is how much? 0.15 kilogram. What is vector v2? Vector v2 is how much? Vector equals to magnitude multiplied by unit vector. Magnitude of final velocity they give 20 meter per second, but because it is along negative x-axis, I should write unit vector minus I hat. So vector v2 is now minus 20 I hat. Everybody? Minus 20 I hat. Minus vector v1. What is vector v1? 12 I hat. Say upon dt. Minus 480 I hat as it is. Come on, 0.15 as it is. Minus 20 minus 12. Minus 20 minus 32 I hat upon dt as it is. Now minus will become plus. Minus will become plus. Take now magnitude on both the sides. So magnitude of unit vector is 1 unit. So it is 480. Say 480. Magnitude of unit vector is 1. So it is 0.15 into 32 upon dt. Take this dt here. Bring this 480 down. 0.15 into 32 upon 480. That is the value of dt measured in second. And how much it is? 0.01 second. What is it dt? It is time of contact between bat and ball. Time of contact between bat and ball comes out to be 0.01 second. Okay. Tell me why these two masses are same? Why we are not written m1 m2? Ball is same. Ball is same. Whichever ball was delivered, same ball is struck by the batsman. You know what happened once? Everybody understand Gujarati? બધા સિનિયર સિટીઝન બધા ભેગા થયા. સિનિયર સિટીઝન બધા ભેગા થયા. 60 plus. Okay. So how to pass the time? That was a problem for them. So they decided, let us play cricket. Let us play cricket. So after so many years, they started playing cricket, though they had forgotten all the rules and regulations. Correct? They simply started playing. And one team, had scored around 150 runs. Correct? In a match of 20 overs, they had scored 150 runs. And when the turn came for the second team, they had lost 9 wickets in 50 runs. So still another 100 runs to win. Another 100 runs, and only 1 wicket was left out. Correct? So that another team, they thought that now we will lose the match. And the remaining team, they started believing that now we will be the winners. Sure. Correct? But it so happened, એક જણે ખબર નહીં એવો ફટકો માર્યો અને કોઈના ઘરમાં ને ત્રીજા માળે ને માળિયામાં ને પીપળામાં પેઈ ગયો. તો આ બાજુ બોલ મળે જ નહીં, આખી ટીમ દોડા મચાવી મૂકી, સાલો બોલ ક્યાં ગયો. અને આ બાજુ કોઈને રૂલ્સ રેગ્યુલેશન કોઈ ભાન નહીં, દોડ મચાવી મૂકી પીચ. બરાબર. The score was 142, 145, 149, 150. બરાબર. પેલા લોકો તો જીવત હતી કે મરે યાર, આ તો આના 150 રન તો હોર રન તો દોડી લઈ લીધા કે મરી ગયા, આપણે તો હારી જવાના કે. એવામાં એક જણ આવ્યો અને ફડાક દઈને આમ બેસ ઉડાડી દીધો, રન આઉટ કરી નાખ્યો. તો જે ટીમ હારવાની હતી ને એ જીતી ગઈ. બરાબર. જે જીતવા નથી હારી ગયા. તો જે ટીમ જીતી ગઈ ને એના બીજા બધા જે બધા પ્લેયર્સ હતા ને એટલે બધા ભેગા થઈને પેલા પકડ્યો. ત્યારે તો ગજબ કર્યું. અમે આખી ટીમ શોધવા લાગ્યા હતા, બોલ કે મળ્યો નહીં, ત્યાં ક્યાંથી ઓધી કાઢ્યો કે અરે ખાપ ઓધી કાઢ્યો તો બજારમાંથી નવો લઈ આવ્યો, માર્કેટ માંથી નવો લઈ આવ્યો, અને તોય તમારે તો પહેલો આવી ગયો. So not necessarily ball will remain same. Not necessarily ball will remain same. Ball may get changed. Ball may get changed. But here ball remains same. That's why here also I am. Here also I am. Got it? Then next. Minus 32. Minus 32. Magnitude wise you can have plus sign here. But the value is 32. Value is 32. But if somebody doesn't write the vector sign, then what he will write by mistake? 20 minus 12, that is 8. So his answer will be 101% wrong. Okay? So you have to solve this sum vectorially. You cannot put here in a scalar form. Got it? Look, F equals to dp by dt, Newton's second law of motion, correct? This much force of reaction will be exerted on the shoulder of a soldier if he fires only one bullet. Only one bullet. Suppose in t time he fires n number of bullets. How many? N number of bullets. Due to one bullet, if the force of reaction is this much, F, then due to n number of bullets, the force of reaction will become n times. Will become n times. So total force of reaction will be n times force of reaction when it was in case of one bullet. Okay? So F dash I am taking n into F. Wait, n as it is. What is F? What is F? dp by dt. F is dp by dt. What do you mean by dp? Change in momentum, final minus initial, upon dt. Or you may write t, no problem. Instead of dt I am putting t. Now P2 is what? M into V2. P1 is M into V1. Take M and M common. Okay? Then inside the bracket V2 minus V1 upon T. V2 minus V1 upon T. Take this T with this N. Okay? So N upon T. Look here, N upon T. Fine. Taken separately. Into M into come on V2 minus V1. What is V1? Initial velocity, a bullet. Before the bullet was fired, it was there in the gun or in the rifle. Correct? What is given to you? Machine gun? Machine gun? It was rifle. Okay. So the automatic rifle. It was there in the rifle at rest. At rest. That's why, look here, this initial velocity is 0. And now tell me, instead of f dash, what I'm writing here, look, f dash maximum. F dash
Maximum.
What do you mean by that? What is this? Force of reaction. Say.
Force of reaction.
And what is this? Maximum force of reaction. Say.
Maximum force of
Because I want maximum value on left hand side, I should take maximum value on right hand side also. That's why instead of n upon t, I'm putting n upon t. It's maximum value. It's a m into v2 as it is. M into v2 as it is. Now tell me, maximum force of reaction that can be tolerated by the given soldier. They are given 200 Newton. They are given
200 Newton.
and this is the maximum number of bullets that can be fired in unit time, that is in 1 second, and that maximum value we require. Common mass of one bullet 50 gram, convert into kilogram, multiplied 10 raised to minus 3. What about V2? That is the final speed of the bullet. They are given 1000 meter per second. Simplify this value, you will get 200 upon 50 you get, because these two will cancel, correct? 200 upon 50, answer is 4. That many bullet per second. That many?
Bullet per second.
So what does it mean? Maximum 4 bullets can be fired in 1 second from this automatic rifle. If the soldier will try to fire more than 4 bullets per second, then this tolerating force, this force of reaction would be beyond 200 Newton. Will be beyond, and beyond 200 he cannot tolerate. He cannot tolerate. Okay, so he should keep the number of bullets that can be fired in 1 second, maximum up to 4. Maximum up to 4, not more than that. In the school examination, suppose they ask how many maximum bullets can be fired in 1 minute. Suppose in 1 minute, so you can just multiply this answer by 60, because 1 minute is 60 seconds. 60 into 4, 240. 240 bullet per minute. 240 bullet per minute. Change the unit at the time. 240 bullet per minute. Got it? Next. Try to understand the physical situation. Suppose on the surface of water in a lake there is some wooden plank. If it is thin and long, we call it raft. We call it raft. On that raft, one person is standing at rest. Initially distance of person from that bank, you are given 30 meter. Look, this is the person standing at rest, and his distance from this bank, it is 30 meter. What does the person do now? With respect to raft, he starts moving, starts running towards bank with a velocity 10 meter per second. So in 1 second he will travel 10 meter. In 1 second he will travel 10 meter. Okay? Now what is asked to us? At the end of 1 second, what will be the distance between person and the bank? Distance of person from the bank at the end of 1 second, how much it will be? Let us find out. Look. To solve this sum very easily, you please remember only one thing. Momentum towards the bank is equal to momentum away from the bank. Momentum towards the bank is equal to momentum
Away from the bank.
Now tell me, who is running towards the bank? Only person. Say.
Only person.
Say.
Only person.
Now the point to be noted and remembered is this, very important point. When the person is running towards the bank, correct? Then raft is moving away from the bank. Raft is moving. But when raft is moving, at that time person is very much present on the raft. So raft would carry the weight of the person also. Raft would carry the weight of person also. So what is the momentum away from the bank? Not only momentum of raft, but momentum of raft and person. Momentum of raft and person. I repeat, who is moving towards the bank? Only person. And who is moving away from the bank? Raft and person, both. Raft and person. Because when raft is moving this way, it carries the body of the person also. Correct? Fine. Look. Momentum towards the bank is, come on, momentum of only person. Momentum is what here? Mass into velocity. Mass into
Velocity.
mass of person multiplied by velocity of person. What is the total momentum moving away from bank? Total mass is mass of person plus mass of raft, and velocity away from bank, let us take it VR. VR. That is velocity of raft. Okay? Now look. Mass MP as it is. What is speed? Speed equals to, come on, distance traveled divided by time taken. Distance traveled divided by time taken. This mass as it is. Again this speed is, come on, distance upon time. Distance upon time. Can you tell me why these two times are equal? For as much time person would run on the raft, for that much time only raft will be in motion. The moment man stops running, at the same time raft also will stop moving. So the time for movement is same for person and for raft. Okay? Come on. These two times are same, that's why I can cancel them. MP into XP, MP plus MR into XR. This is the distance traveled towards the bank. Distance traveled towards the bank. And this is the distance traveled away from the bank. Let us find out. Mass of person 60 kg. Distance traveled by person in 1 second he moves by 10 meter towards the bank. So this is 10 meter. Mass of person is 60 kg. Mass of raft, it is 40 kg. It is. And the value of XR I want. This is 600. This is 100. 600 upon 100. 600 upon 100. It is 6 meter. But where? Say. Say. Wait. Suppose raft does not move. Just imagine. Raft does not move. What is the initial distance of man from the bank? 30 meters. Say. And he runs by 10 meters. And in 1 second towards the bank. So now what is the distance between person and bank? 20. Say.
20.
But in same 1 second, raft is moving away from bank by 6 meters. By
6 meters.
By
6 meters.
So his body will be pushed backward by 6 meters. So now it is 20 plus 6, so it is altogether. Final answer is 26. Final answer is, I repeat, look here. 30. Everybody say
30.
30 minus 10 plus 6. Look. 30 minus 10 plus 6. So it is 26. Look here. Bank is remaining address. Bank is remaining
Address.
person is here. Initial distance is 30 meters. Say
30 meters.
30 minus 10. 30
Minus 10.
and plus 6. What is my answer?
26.
Suppose they have asked at the end of 2 seconds. At the end of
2 seconds.
then in 1 second person is running towards the bank by 10 meters. By
10 meters.
and in 2 seconds he will run by 20 meters. Run by
20 meters.
So wait. At that time, look, this will be 20. This will be
20.
and now tell me 16 to 20.
120.
16 to 20.
120.
16 to 20. 1200. And this is 100. 1200 upon 100. Correct? That is the distance traveled away from the bank. Wait. Then tell me 30. Initial distance is 30. 30 minus 20 and plus 12. Correct? 30 minus 20. 10. 10 plus 12.
22.
Got it? So remember, mass of the person, only mass of person is moving towards the bank. And the mass which is moving away from bank, it is not only raft, it is mass of raft plus mass of person. If you can remember this much, the sum will be very easy. Okay? Momentum towards the bank is equal to momentum away from the bank. Got it? write one statement. A dog of mass. A dog of mass. "25 kilogram is standing at rest on a raft of mass 40 kilogram, floating on calm surface of water in a lake, floating on calm, CALM, calm surface of water in a lake, full stop. Now, this dog starts running away from bank, with a velocity 0.5 meter per second, 0.5 meter per second, with respect to raft, 0.5 meter per second with respect to raft. Find distance of dog from the bank at the end of 1 minute. At the end of 1 minute. Taking initial distance of dog from the bank, taking initial distance of dog from bank equal to 100 meter, equal to 100 meter. Okay? The sum is similar but not same. Now the dog is running. So what you will put the step? Low momentum away from bank is equal to momentum towards the bank. Momentum away from bank is the momentum of only dog. Momentum of and momentum towards the bank is momentum of dog plus momentum of raft. Got it? Bring the answer next time, okay? I want same answer from everybody. And wait, stand up those who have not given the exam.